If you've ever lost a great candidate because a bigger company outbid you, or worse, lost a great employee to one, this video is going to change how you think about that problem entirely. Because the companies that consistently win on talent despite paying less aren't winning on money. They're winning on something better. And in the next 8 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what that is and how to build it. First, let me reframe the whole problem. When we say we can't compete on compensation, we're usually comparing base salaries. And on base salary alone, yes, Google will win. Goldman will win. The FAANG companies will win every time. But salary is only one dimension of the total compensation equation. And in many cases, it's not even the most important one to the people you want most. Part 1, the 5 elements of total compensation. Total compensation has 5 elements. Most companies only consciously manage 1 or 2. The ones that win the talent war manage all 5. 1. Base salary, the fixed monthly pay. This is what most people talk about. For early stage companies, being at 70-85% of market rate is often acceptable, but only if the other 4 elements are strong. 2. Equity, stock options or ESOPs. The most underutilized lever at growth stage companies. When structured correctly, equity can turn a below-market offer into a life-changing one. 3. Variable pay, performance bonuses, commissions, profit share lets high performers earn significantly above base, creates alignment between company success and personal income. 4. Benefit S and perks, health insurance, learning budgets, flexible work, mental health support, often worth more than their monetary cost because of their lifestyle impact. 5. Career capital, growth trajectory, learning velocity, the quality of people they'll work with, intangible but often the deciding factor for high ambition candidates. Part 2. Building your compensation philosophy. Before you set a single number, you need a compensation philosophy. This is a written statement, 1 page or less, that answers 3 questions. 1. What is our target position relative to the market? Are we at the 50th, 65th or 75th percentile? 2. What do we prioritize in our comp mix? Base heavy, equity heavy or variable heavy? 3. What is our commitment to pay equity and transparency? Here's what a practical philosophy might look like for a Series A company. We target the 65th percentile on base salary for engineering roles and the 55th percentile for support functions. We offer above-market equity with a standard 4-year vest and 1-year cliff. We believe in pay transparency within bands, meaning all employees can see the salary range for their role and those adjacent to theirs. This philosophy should be written, shared with your leadership team, and applied consistently. Inconsistency in compensation is one of the top 3 causes of voluntary attrition in growth stage companies. Example. Here's what a practical philosophy might look like for a Series A company. We target the 65th percentile on base salary for engineering roles and the 55th percentile for support functions. We offer above-market equity with a standard 4-year vest and 1-year cliff. We believe in pay transparency within bands, meaning all employees can see the salary range for their role and those adjacent to theirs. This philosophy should be written, shared with your leadership team, and applied consistently. Inconsistency in compensation is one of the top 3 causes of voluntary attrition in growth stage companies. Part 3. Using equity as a real weapon. Let's talk about equity specifically because most founders are leaving serious talent attraction power on the table here. The mistake is treating equity as a rounding error, a small ESOP pool that's barely communicated and never made tangible. If someone is going to take a 15% base salary reduction to join your company, equity needs to feel real enough to justify that decision. And that means you need to be able to show them the math. Equity structure. Here's a simple framework. When making an offer, show the candidate 3 scenarios for what their equity could be worth. A conservative scenario at your current valuation with modest growth. A base case at a 2 to 3 times revenue multiple in 4 years. And an upside scenario if the company hits its ambitions. You don't need to promise any of these. You're showing them the range of possibilities. Most candidates have never seen this conversation done well. It transforms equity from an abstract number into a compelling financial argument. For the right person, someone who believes in what you're building, this is the close. Part 4. Salary bands. How to build and use them. Salary bands are ranges, a minimum, midpoint, and maximum for each role level in your company. They prevent two things: paying people dramatically different amounts for the same work and having no ceiling to guide offers. Without bands, every offer is an ad hoc negotiation, and people who negotiate harder earn more than people who produce more. That's a morale and retention problem waiting to happen. To build bands for a startup, you need two things. First, market data. Use sources like levels.fyi for tech roles, LinkedIn Salary, or compensation benchmarking tools like Radford or Mercer for more detailed data. Second, a leveling framework, a simple matrix that defines what distinguishes a level 1 from a level 2 from a level 3 in any given function. Once you have both, you can set bands at your target percentile and apply them consistently. A good band typically has a spread of 25 to 35% from MIN to max, giving you enough room to reward growth and negotiate competitively without blowing your philosophy. Part 5. Benefits that cost less than you think. Let's talk about benefits, and specifically the high-impact ones that don't cost a fortune. The things candidates remember during a job search aren't always the biggest ticket items. They're the ones that feel personal. A 5,000 rupee monthly learning budget signals that you invest in people's growth. A clear mental health support policy signals that you treat people like humans. Flexible work, even a one-day-a-week remote option, signals trust. These benefits cost a fraction of a salary increase, but in a competitive offer situation, they can be the deciding factor for the right candidate. Benefits strategy. The strategic move here is to understand what your target candidates actually value and offer that, not a generic bundle. Early career hires often value learning and growth more than insurance. Senior hires often value autonomy and flexibility above everything else. Parents value health coverage and stability. Ask candidates directly what matters to them in their next role. You'll be surprised how often the answer isn't money, and how easy it is to deliver once you know what it is. Summary. Here's the one thing I want you to take away from this video. You don't win on talent by paying the most. You win by being the most intentional. A clear comp philosophy consistently applied, equity communicated as a real financial story, salary bands that protect fairness, and benefits that speak to what your specific people actually want. That's the stack that beats the big company offer more often than you'd expect. If this raised more questions about how to structure your overall people strategy, the next video in this series covers how to build an onboarding process that stops you losing great hires in the first 90 days. It's right here. See you there.